Hey guys, welcome to another tutorial. Today we're going to talk about how to make a custom GPT with Google Sheets integrated into it so that your chatbot can use the Google Sheets data to inform its responses. For our example today, we will be making a New York City restaurant recommendation chatbot. So this will read in your list of restaurants and provide specific places there that you have created and curated. So first step is to set up our Google Sheet. Now these are restaurants that I have personally picked out, and I've noted down their name, cuisine, vibe, address, price, dishes, latitude, etc. by going to Google Maps. We won't be covering how to do that. You can create your Google Sheet however you want. And then once you're done, we need to convert it into an API. Now, if you're non-technical, you might be wondering what an API is. For our purposes, it will allow us to feed in our data from Google Sheets live into the custom GPT. For example, right now you could give this data to ChatGPT by downloading it. But then if I make another addition here, I would have to re-download and re-upload. With an API, I can make another restaurant addition here, or as many as I need, and that data will automatically get picked up without me having to do anything else. So an API takes the form of a URL. It's a URL that can be interacted via code, which custom GPT can do. Just like this is a URL that your browser can read. So to convert your Google Sheets into an API, we're going to use this tool, API Spreadsheets. You can sign up for free. And in the upload section, we go to Google Sheets, click proceed here, select the account that your sheet is in, and then you'll get your drive to select. So we select our NYC restaurants sheet, and this is where we're going to get our URL. Again, this is our live link. So we're going to come to this read tab, and you can keep it private or you can make it not private. I'm going to make it not private so the URL is shorter, and pick this up and I'll paste it somewhere because I'm going to need this after. Once I have this, I'm going to open up ChatGPT again, and I want to go to this custom GPT called Actions GPT. So on your left-hand side, you can explore GPTs here and search for Actions GPT if it's not found. So mine is already here. I'm going to just click on it and start chatting. What I'm doing here is I am going to use my URL, and I need to generate a documentation spec, an OpenAPI spec that will tell my custom GPT how to interact with this API. So I give it instructions. I want to make a GET request, which is a type of action to an API, to this API URL. It returns data about restaurants in New York City. Sample data returned is below. So I also want to give it the data that is returned from this API. You can just go to any browser here and copy this data. If your Google Sheets is too big, you can copy a little bit of it. Enough for ChatGPT or Actions GPT to understand what your data looks like. I think mine should be short enough. And it is. Okay, cool. So this is generating this OpenAI API spec that we'll be inputting in our custom GPT. So now let's get to the fun part. Let's make the custom GPT. First, we want to come to Explore GPTs here. We do Create. And you can get started with the Configure tab right away, but I actually like the Create tab. This is like a prompt version of building. So here, I tell it, I want to create a that provides restaurant recommendations from New York City. It should only use data that is returned from my API and nothing else. Be casual and informative like a tour guide. Cool. So I provided this bot. Now the GPT builder will use that information to fill out those fields we see in the configure tab already. So here we can do NYC Rex or something like that. So now it's asking NYC Foodie Guide. No, give it the name NYC Rex. And it will also generate a profile picture from Dolly. You can use it or ask it to change it. Doesn't matter. What I want to focus on in this tutorial is the actions on how to actually interact with the API. Oh, change to just pizza. Cool. So while it does that, we'll come to the actions part. So here, as we can see, we filled out the name, we filled out the description, or the GPT filled it out. We can change it if we want. I'm going to leave it because, again, I want to focus on the part where it connects to the API. Have the instructions, conversation starters, which will be the ones here. We can upload files, which, again, we could have done the Google Sheet, download it and upload it, but we want to use the API to make it live. So we come to the actions here, and we come to our actions GPT to copy this spec and paste it. If we don't have any errors, we should get an available action here. Great. Now it will ask us for a privacy policy. This is required if we want to make it public. So you can put the privacy policy of the tools and APIs you're using. I'm going to put the API spreadsheets one because that's the one I'm going to use. If you're using multiple API and you are creating multiple API providers here, then you will need to provide one for your app specifically. So you actually need to create a website just for NYC Rex that has a privacy policy. But for now, since I'm using this, I can use the API spreadsheets one. And let's see, that should actually do it. So now when I ask it questions, it will pull the live data directly from this Google Sheet. As we can see, we have some restaurants recommended from Eater and from Fung Bros on YouTube. So let's ask it to provide us recommendations for restaurants that appear in both. Give me restaurant recommendations from both Eater and Fung Bros. This will always be asked. You allow it to talk to it. We're going to always allow, we can trust. And there you go. So this Madame Passar right here, the first one, we have Ruby Rosa again. And then from Fung Bros, this is it. So it actually gave us stuff from both independently. Let's see. What about restaurants that both recommend? And that should give us the one. So this is a very simplified version of what can be done with actions and integrating with Google Sheets. You can imagine we can do a lot more. We can add data through it. So we can put in some data, please add to my Google Sheet, and they can use the API to do that. We can integrate with other third parties using this approach of integrating the API into actions. And those will be the next steps to take if you want to integrate more services. The final step, if we want to publish it, we click create. Let's do anyone with link. We save, wait for it to save, GPT publish, and now we have our link that we can share with our friends, family, strangers, loved ones, our crush, everyone else. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for another video on another exciting AI technology. Bye bye.